Very good morning to you. You've accused the Prime Minister of applying pressure to the business leaders who signed that letter in the Times that we've been talking about so far this morning. What evidence do you have that they were pressured?
Well, it's simple. The Prime Minister admitted in the House of Commons yesterday that it was number 10 resources that were being used to coordinate that letter. Secondly, in conjunction with someone who has a track record of consistently saying that Britain should join the euro. So,
isn't that just how you would use your resources, though, as well, to encourage business leaders to back your campaign?
Well, yes, but it's very different, as we all know. If the Prime Minister's office phones you up and asks you to sign a letter, then, you know, de facto, you're going to think about it very seriously.
The chief executive of Heathrow, whom I spoke to this morning, said that he was invited, not pressured, to do so.
Well, let's hope that was the case. But we at Leave.EU, we've got a database of over 2,000 SMEs who've confirmed that they would like to leave the EU. They don't see the benefits, and we're going to be organising a letter of over 1,000 of those SMEs. So, you know, we can all play with numbers, but the reality is that there is no evidence that leaving the European Union would damage our trade with the EU at all. There are lots of countries around the world who are not members of the EU who trade very successfully with it.
Just to come back to that in a second, but first of all, on that point of whether people were pressured or not, you admit, therefore, that people may have been invited to sign the letter rather than being pressured.
Well, we all know what's happened. They've been phoned up and said, you know, there's number 10 on the line, or number 10 would like you to sign a letter. Will you or won't you? You know, I mean, clearly there is a degree of invitation, but also a significant degree of potential pressure there. Anyway, we're delighted that lots of companies have declined to do so in spite of that pressure-stroke invitation.
The businesses who have signed up to that letter say they need unrestricted access to the European market of some 500 million people. Talk to us about whether a vote to leave would bring more restrictions for businesses here.
Well, of course it wouldn't. There is a legal obligation on the European Union after we exit to organise and to negotiate and to sign a free trade agreement with the United Kingdom. And as I said before, you don't have to be in the European Union in order to trade with it. There are lots of countries around the world who very successfully trade with the European Union who don't even have a free trade agreement.
Just finally, how are you going to translate this big picture story, if you like, to the ordinary voter in the street? How are you going to convince them that what you are saying here, that what businesses are saying, is what they should vote for?
Well, I think there are a number of issues that concern ordinary members of the public. Their primary concern, actually, are issues of sovereignty, about who makes our laws, who controls our own borders. You know, on the economics, they'll listen to the arguments, but I think when people understand that there is a legal obligation on the European Union to negotiate a trade agreement with us, they'll say, actually, you know, it's probably the status quo. It'll be broadly the same.
OK, Richard Tice.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.